Welcome back. Time for a look at our full forecast, joined by meteorologist Emily Merz. Emily, we had some rain, we had some snow, and now we're back to quote-unquote normal conditions for us this spring, which is dry and dangerous conditions out there.
Yeah, especially when it comes to that fire weather. That's not really something you should take lightly. Those red flag warnings are there for a reason. And even though that this one is set to expire pretty soon, we'll see this going on until 7. It's possible we could continue to see some fire weather alerts continuing later on into the day. But generally, the worst time as far as that fire weather is going to be more so during the day. Once we get later on into the evening, that humidity goes up a little bit. We're not going to necessarily have to worry about that quite as much. But going forward, we're going to see some more rain that'll hopefully really mitigate those dry conditions that we're seeing out there and will help prevent some of these fires. But until then, important to abide by these warnings and especially those burn bans that are in place for a lot of places. Very similar to that, we also have this wind advisory. This is going to continue until very early tomorrow morning, kind of in the overnight hours tonight and into tomorrow. We're seeing some very, very gusty conditions across the area. Now, here are those wind speeds around the region. These are the sustained winds, so not even including the individual wind gusts. Sustained winds upwards of 30 miles an hour and then even closer to 40 miles an hour further out towards our west. We're going to be continuing to see this throughout the evening and into tomorrow ahead of that system. Here are those wind gusts currently. As we can see, some of these close to 50 miles an hour. That's some intense wind out there. That's a little bit more than just that will knock your hat off. This is the type of wind that could send some trash cans flying. We could see some other loose objects in the yard taking flight with this too. So very important to keep an eye on that type of stuff, especially as we continue on through the overnight. Good news is we'll see these winds go back to normal tomorrow morning once that system really makes its way into our region. But until then, we're going to continue to see those very breezy conditions. On radar now, we can see that system slowly making its way further into our region. We can see some thunderstorms going on further towards the south as well. We will see a couple of thunderstorms likely tomorrow evening, but we're not really looking at much of a severe threat. That being said, though, still some lightning, some small hail very possible along with those gusty conditions. Late tonight is when we'll see this first line of rain make its way through our area. Overnight and into early morning on Sunday, we'll continue to see that rain kind of for the first half of the day. Then it'll become a little bit more scattered throughout the afternoon. The second line making its way through closer to around dinner time tomorrow. And with that is when we could potentially see some rumbles of thunder, some lightning mixing in with that too. Going into Monday, it'll become a lot more light, a lot more scattered around the area, but you'll still want to hang on to that umbrella and then maybe even into Tuesday as well as we see some lingering showers from that system. The rest of the evening, we're sitting in the 50s and 40s for the region. We're going to continue to see those warmer temperatures later on in the week, warming up into the 60s, maybe even into the 70s as we approach that following weekend. Active weather for this weekend and then again potentially as we get into the next week. That's all for weather. We'll be right back.